Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
All right, get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fascinating: big goals.
And I can guarantee this isn't going to be like, those typical goal-setting things you see everywhere.
Right. We've all heard about setting SMART goals, but
This is different. This is about
those really ambitious dreams, the ones that you almost think are impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
So how are we going to tackle this?
Well, we're going to be looking at the work of Caroline Adams Miller,
Okay.
and specifically her book, Big Goals. Have you heard of it?
I have, yeah.
And she has this innovative system she calls the bridge methodology. It's really interesting stuff. It helps you kind of get rid of those limiting beliefs that hold you back and tap into a whole bunch of motivation you might not even know you have.
I love that because, let's be honest, sometimes, setting goals can feel like a chore.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're just going through the motions. But what if there was a way to set goals that actually got you excited? Goals that felt really aligned with what you truly value.
Absolutely. And that's what the bridge methodology is all about. It's not a, one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
I was just thinking about that.
It's more like it guides you to figure out your own kind of personal roadmap. It helps you take into account your strengths, your challenges, and what you really want to achieve.
I'm already so intrigued. But before we go into the whole bridge framework, I had a question about this concept of good grit. I've been hearing a lot about grit these days.
Oh, yeah. It's a hot topic.
But it seems like Miller has a kind of a different take on it.
Yes, she does. She doesn't see it as like just forcing your way through tough stuff. It's more about having this deep passion and purpose that kind of fuels you and keeps you going. She tells this really amazing story in her book about this woman who, she faced so many obstacles, but still built this amazing business from scratch. And her secret: she had this unwavering passion for what she was doing. That's like good grit in action.
That's such a good example. It makes me think that maybe sometimes we mix up like willpower with actual grit.
Oh, for sure.
It's like making yourself climb a mountain even though you don't even want to see the view from the top.
Exactly. You've got to love what you're doing. That's why it's so crucial to go after goals that really, truly mean something to you. When your goals are in line with your passions, it doesn't feel like work. It feels more like an adventure.
Totally. Okay, so passion's important. We got it. But what about those times when even the goals we're really passionate about seem, just too big? How do we get from that big goal in our head to actually taking the first steps?
Well, that's where bridge comes in. Each letter in bridge stands for a key part of the process. Brainstorming, relationships, investments, decisions, grit, the good kind, and excellence. And it's designed to help you through every single step of your journey, from getting clear on your vision to actually achieving it and celebrating that win.
All right, let's break it down. But actually, before we do, can we talk about something that I've always been a bit confused about?
Sure, yeah.
The whole performance goals versus learning goals thing. Are they really that different?
They really are.
Yeah.
And knowing the difference is really important if you want to achieve big goals.
Yeah.
Performance goals are all about specific outcomes.
Like what?
Like hitting sales targets, finishing a marathon, or writing a book.
Okay, got it.
But learning goals are more about the process of growing and getting better at something.
So if I want to learn a new language, that would be a learning goal.
Right.
But if I wanted to be good enough to give a presentation in that language, that'd be a performance goal.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that sometimes learning goals can be even more effective than performance goals, especially when things are unpredictable. They make you more flexible and open to new possibilities, which is essential these days.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're too focused on the destination, you might miss out on some amazing stuff along the way.
Yeah, you can miss out on some really cool detours. And sometimes those detours lead to even better places than you originally planned.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm starting to see how all of this connects. But we can't forget about the beat and bridge brainstorming. Where do we even start when we're trying to come up with these big, awesome goals?
That's where things get really fun. It's all about tapping into your creativity and letting your imagination go wild. It's about finding those goals that truly make you feel alive and excited about the possibilities.
So it's not just about any goal, but about finding those that really connect with what we care about and what we're passionate about.
Yeah, it's got to be something that feels meaningful to you.
That sounds like a pretty cool challenge. What does Miller suggest we do during this brainstorming phase?
Well, she recommends a few things. One is to think back to those times in your life when you felt the most alive, the most engaged.
Oh, wow.
What were you doing? What made those experiences so special?
That's a really cool idea. It's like searching for treasure in your own memories.
It is. And another powerful technique is to ask yourself what-if questions.
Ooh, I like those.
What if you had all the resources you needed? What if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you dare to dream?
I love that. It's like giving yourself permission to think bigger than you usually do.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of brainstorming. It's about breaking free from those limits you set for yourself and opening up to a world of possibilities.
I'm already getting inspired. It sounds like brainstorming is all about rediscovering that sense of wonder and allowing ourselves to dream big, like when we were kids.
It totally is. It's about remembering that we're capable of so much more than we often believe.
This is eye-opening. I'm seeing now how the bridge methodology is more than just steps to follow. It's a way of thinking, a way of approaching goals with curiosity, passion, and a sense of what's possible.
That mindset is so important because when you approach your goals from a place of believing in yourself and feeling empowered, you tap into this wellspring of motivation and resilience that can help you overcome any obstacle.
Okay, so we've got the brainstorming piece down. We're dreaming big, tapping into our passions, and asking those what-if questions. But what about the R in bridge relationships? This has got to be more than just networking, right?
You're right. It's about creating deep, meaningful relationships with people who inspire and support you.
So it's about finding your tribe, those people who get your vision and are there to cheer you on every step of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Think of mentors, accountability partners, even friends and family who genuinely want to see you grow. These are the people who will be there to celebrate your successes and help you up when you fall.
It's like having your own personal cheerleading squad, pushing you to be your best. But how do you find these amazing people?
Sometimes those relationships just happen naturally, but sometimes you have to be more proactive. Think about people you admire, people who have the qualities you want to develop. Reach out to them, connect with them, learn from them.
That's a great tip. And what about accountability partners? How do we find those people who will keep us on track in a supportive way?
Look for people who have similar goals or who are also trying to grow and improve. You can join groups or communities where you can meet like-minded individuals.
So it's about building a network of support that goes beyond just professional connections. It's about finding people who truly get you and support you, both personally and professionally.
Exactly. Because achieving big goals is rarely a solo mission. You need a team, people who believe in you and want to see you succeed.
I love that. It's like building your own personal board of advisors, a team of experts and cheerleaders who will guide and support you along the way. But let's pause for a second and think about what we've covered so far.
Good idea. It's been a lot.
What really stood out to you?
Well, for me, the idea of good grit was really powerful. It reminds me that passion is like fuel, especially when you're facing challenges. And I really love that idea of brainstorming those big, exciting goals, those dreams that make you feel truly alive.
Me too. It's so important to connect with that feeling, and we can't forget about building those strong relationships with people who inspire us and have our backs.
Definitely. Those connections can make all the difference in the world when you're trying to do something extraordinary.
Absolutely. And all of that before we've even gotten to the I in bridge. We have so much more to explore. But I think we've earned a little break, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
When we come back, we'll dive into the next part of the bridge methodology, and I'm so curious to see what other insights we uncover. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We're right in the middle of exploring the bridge methodology. It's pretty amazing how these simple ideas can change how we approach our goals.
It really is. We've already uncovered so much. So, ready to move on to the I?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I for investments. What does Miller say about this part of setting goals?
Well, at first glance, it seems pretty simple. Investments are all about putting in the time, the effort, the resources, all the things you need to make your goals a reality.
Right. Makes sense.
But Miller, she takes it a step further. She says we should think about not just the external investments, but the internal ones too.
Oh, interesting. So we're not just talking about money or even time management. We're talking about investing in ourselves too.
Exactly. It's about making choices that support our goals, even if they involve a little discomfort or sacrifice.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Like maybe you say no to some social events to free up time for work. Or maybe you invest in a course or workshop to learn some important skills. Or, even something like prioritizing your mental and physical health.
Oh, I like that because if you're not feeling your best, it's hard to do your best.
Exactly. It's all connected. And remember, investing in yourself is not just about reaching a specific goal. It's about becoming a better version of yourself along the way.
I love that. It's like we're creating this personalized success fund, not just with money, but with our time, energy, and attention.
I like that analogy. Okay, ready for D?
Let's do it. D for decisions. And decision making can be so hard sometimes.
You're telling me. Especially when you've got all these options and each one has its pros and cons. But Miller gives some really good advice. She says the key to making good decisions is making sure they line up with your values and your overall goals.
So it's about being intentional and making sure our choices are moving us towards those outcomes we want.
Yeah, exactly. And that often means saying no to things that might seem good in the moment, but will ultimately kind of throw you off track.
Like resisting those shiny distractions that try to pull us away from what we really want.
Exactly.
Oh, that can be so hard sometimes.
It definitely is. But luckily, Miller has this whole system to help us navigate tough decisions. It involves getting clear about our priorities, weighing the potential costs and benefits of each option, and even thinking about how each decision fits into our overall vision for our life.
That's pretty comprehensive. I like that. It seems like it takes some of the guesswork out of making decisions and helps you make choices that are actually in your best interest.
Yeah, for sure.
But even with a good decision-making process, there are going to be times when things don't go as planned. There are going to be setbacks, and I think that can make you question your choices.
Absolutely. Setbacks are a part of life, and that's where the G in Bridge comes in grit, that passion-driven persistence that helps you get through the tough times and come out even stronger.
Ah, yes, good grit. I love that concept. It's a reminder that achieving big goals isn't about never facing challenges. It's about building that resilience and determination to keep going even when things get tough.
Exactly. And remember, good grit comes from a deep sense of purpose. When you really care about your goals, when they align with your values and what you want out of life, you're much more likely to stick with it, even when you hit those bumps in the road.
It's like if you don't really care about the destination, you're probably not going to make it through that rough terrain.
Exactly. But when you're passionate, it's like you have this internal compass that keeps you going in the right direction no matter what.
I love that image. Okay, I'm seeing how each part of Bridge builds on the one before it. It's like building a solid foundation, brick by brick. So let's move on to the E, the final piece. Excellence. What's that all about?
Well, excellence is about aiming to be your best self, especially when it comes to working towards your goals. It's about setting high standards for yourself and holding yourself accountable.
So it's about always striving to do your best, always trying to improve.
Yeah, but it's not about being perfect. There's a big difference.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that. There's definitely a fine line between striving for excellence and getting caught up in perfectionism.
You're right. Perfectionism can actually be really paralyzing. It's often driven by fear of failing and needing to control every little thing. But excellence is more about embracing the journey of growth, accepting that you'll make mistakes along the way, and using those mistakes as opportunities to learn.
I get that. It's like with perfectionism, you're so scared of messing up that you end up not doing anything at all. But with excellence, it's more like you're okay with the journey, with the stumbles and the learning that comes along the way.
Exactly. That's why Miller talks about the importance of celebrating our progress, no matter how big or small. It's about acknowledging how far you've come and recognizing that every step forward is a win.
That's so true. We often get so focused on the next big thing that we forget to appreciate what we've already accomplished.
Right. It's like we need to give ourselves those little pats on the back along the way. It keeps you going.
And that positive reinforcement can be so motivating. It helps us keep going and feel more confident in our ability to actually reach our goals.
Exactly. But it's not just about celebrating wins. It's also about learning from those missteps, those inevitable stumbles along the way.
So it's about embracing the whole experience, the good and the bad, the wins and the lessons learned along the way.
Exactly. Because that's where the real growth happens. In those moments of challenge, even failure, that's where you discover your true strength. And that's where you gain the wisdom to handle future challenges with more, ease and grace.
This all ties back to good grit, doesn't it? It's about knowing that setbacks and challenges are part of the process. They're not signs of weakness, they're actually opportunities for growth.
That's it. And remember, excellence isn't a destination. It's an ongoing thing, a commitment to always striving to be your best self, not just when working towards your goals, but in all areas of your life.
It's like we're always evolving, always becoming a more refined version of ourselves, learning from every challenge we overcome and every lesson we learn. This is so inspiring. I'm starting to realize how Bridge is so much more than just a system for achieving goals. It's like a blueprint for living a more fulfilling life, a life where you feel more empowered and in control.
I couldn't put it better myself. It's about aligning your actions with your values, investing in your growth, making conscious decisions, facing challenges with good grit, striving for excellence in everything you do.
This deep dive has been a total game changer for me. I'm seeing goal setting and life in general in a whole new way.
I'm so glad to hear that. But before we wrap things up, you mentioned habit goals earlier. How do they fit into all of this?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. We've been talking a lot about outcome goals, those specific things we want to achieve. But you mentioned habit goals. What are those exactly?
Well, outcome goals give you that direction and motivation, that clear target to aim for. But habit goals are the small, consistent actions you take every day that pave the way to those bigger outcomes. They're the daily practices that, over time, create real, lasting change.
So, like, if my big goal is to write a book, my habit goals might be things like writing for an hour every day or going to a weekly writing group.
Exactly. And habit goals are super powerful because they make achieving your goals almost automatic. You don't have to rely on willpower or motivation, which can be, unreliable.
Because some days you just don't feel like it.
Exactly. But with habit goals, you build systems that support your success even when you're not feeling particularly inspired or motivated.
It's like setting up a success autopilot.
Yes. But keep in mind, forming new habits takes time and effort. It's a process that requires patience and, sticking with it.
But the payoff is huge. Once those positive habits become part of your daily routine, it's almost like success becomes effortless.
That's the goal.
Okay, so we got the Bridge methodology, the difference between performance and learning goals, and the power of habit goals. Is there anything else we should keep in mind when we're trying to reach those big, audacious goals?
One more thing. Don't underestimate the importance of self-reflection. It's about checking in with yourself regularly to see how you're doing, both in terms of your progress and how you're feeling overall.
So it's not just about checking things off the to-do list, but making sure we're still on track with ourselves and what's important to us.
Exactly. It's about asking yourself questions like, are these goals still aligned with my passions? Am I enjoying this journey, or is it stressing me out? Are there any changes I need to make sure I'm moving forward in a way that feels good and sustainable?
That's so crucial. It's like giving yourself permission to adjust your course along the way, making sure that you're not just achieving your goals, but also living a life that feels true to who you are.
Absolutely. And self-reflection isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing practice, a way of staying connected to your inner compass.
Okay, so we've covered brainstorming, relationships, investments, decisions, grit, excellence, habit goals, and self-reflection. Wow, that's a lot to take in. But I feel so much more prepared to tackle my own big goals now.
That's great to hear. And remember, achieving big goals is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about taking consistent action, embracing the ups and downs, and celebrating every step you take.
And having those supportive people around you, the ones who believe in your vision and will be there to cheer you on every step of the way. This deep dive has been amazing. I'm feeling so inspired and energized.
That's fantastic. And don't forget, you have everything you need to achieve those big, incredible dreams. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and keep reaching for those stars.
I will. This has been so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and walking us through this transformative journey. But before we say goodbye, I have one last question. We've talked about the steps, the strategies, the mindset. But how do we stay motivated when those doubts start creeping in? Those times when you start questioning yourself and wondering if you can actually achieve those goals.
That's a great question. And it's one we'll explore when we come back for the final part of our deep dive into big goals and the Bridge methodology. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to our deep dive. It feels like it's been, just an incredible journey exploring this whole world of big goals and Caroline Adams Miller's Bridge methodology.
It really is amazing, isn't it, how these, seemingly simple concepts can, when you put them all together, create such a powerful way to achieve those dreams that sometimes feel, I don't know, almost impossible.
Before we started this, I always thought, achieving big goals was all about like willpower, just pushing through no matter what.
Right.
But now I'm realizing, I think, it's so much more than that. It's about alignment and strategy and really cultivating a mindset that supports you, that supports real growth.
Yeah, you've got it's not about just like forcing things to happen. It's about creating a system that helps you succeed, not just, relying on bursts of motivation or just trying to muscle your way through.
And speaking of motivation, before the break, we were talking about those, inevitable moments of doubt. Those times when those sneaky little doubts start to creep in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we start questioning ourselves and our goals, like, what's the secret to, keeping those dream-stealing gremlins away?
That's something we all struggle with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those moments of self-doubt are just part of being human. But the key is to not let those doubts take over and start running the show.
Okay, so how do we kick those negative thoughts to the curb, before they get too comfortable?
Well, one really powerful technique is to try to reframe those doubts. Think of them as like opportunities for growth. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, try asking yourself, what can I learn from this challenge? Or what resources do I need? What kind of support do I need to move forward?
So it's like, instead of being afraid and feeling limited, we try to be curious and approach it from a more empowered place.
Right. It's about understanding that challenges aren't, stopping you.
Yeah.
They're actually like stepping stones on the way to reaching your goals.
I love that. That's a great way to look at it. It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But what about those times when that doubt feels, I don't know, just overwhelming, when you just feel like giving up on your dreams completely?
Yeah, those are really tough moments. And it's important to, to acknowledge those feelings. Don't try to push them down or pretend they're not there. But don't let them, take the wheel.
Right. So it's okay to feel them, but not let them, like, boss us around.
Exactly. One thing that can really help is to remind yourself why you chose this goal in the first place. What's your passion behind it? What's the purpose? Picture yourself actually achieving it and all the incredible things that will come with it.
It's like making a little mental movie trailer of our success story, reminding ourselves why we started on this journey and what we're working towards.
Yeah, I like that. And another powerful technique is to make sure you're surrounding yourself with supportive people who believe in what you're doing. Talk to them about your doubts. Get their encouragement and advice.
Right. This is where that R in bridge comes in relationships. It's like having a team of cheerleaders there to lift you up when you're feeling down.
Exactly. And remember, those moments of doubt, they're usually temporary. They come and go like waves in the ocean.
Yeah.
But your commitment to your goals, your inner strength and resilience, those were like the solid ground beneath your feet.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's a good reminder that even when those waves of doubt are like crashing all around us, we can still stay strong and focused on what we want.
And that strength comes from, all those key elements of the bridge methodology. Dreaming big, investing in yourself, making tough decisions, facing challenges with that good grit, striving for excellence, building those supportive relationships, and remembering to celebrate all those little wins along the way.
It's amazing, isn't it, how all those pieces work together to create, like, not just a path to achieving our goals, but a way to live a more fulfilling life.
Right. It's about feeling more empowered, really taking control of your life.
This deep dive has been, honestly, I can't even tell you, it's been a total game changer for me.
I'm so happy to hear that. And remember, the most important thing is that you already have everything you need to achieve those incredible dreams.
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself, trust the process, and don't stop reaching for those stars.
I won't. This has been an absolutely incredible journey. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and insights with us. I feel like I've been given this like toolbox full of amazing strategies and just a whole new sense of what's possible.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep reaching for those stars.
That's exactly what we're going to do. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you leave feeling inspired and empowered and ready to take on those big goals with more confidence and a clearer vision of what you want.
Until next time, keep dreaming big and keep believing in yourself.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.